All right, guys, welcome to Forex and Chill. It's March 1st. Woohoo! Today, March 1st, we actually have people who are in IML who are in Vegas. So if you are in Vegas, I commend you for being here tonight. If you're not in Vegas, let this be your turn up Vegas night on Forex and Chill. Um, we have Forex and Chill every freaking Friday, and you know that Gwen is always dropping knowledge. I mean, I get on here and there's always something I can take back with me, always, which is why after being in trading for a bit over a year, I still show up here. I remember back in the day when I was like you guys, one weekend, demo in, it gets better, it gets better, it gets better. Just keep showing up. Listen to your mentors. Mark up charts. Mark up charts. Mark up charts. That's the number one thing. Gotta practice your craft. Okay, so if you guys can see my screen, you see that tonight we're gonna do some marking charts, talk fundamentals, review task management or risk management, talk discipline and goals, and as a group, as a community, we're gonna ask questions and share answers. So it just won't be me talking. All right? So first, let's go to our charts. I'm gonna go back and forth with this. Let me go to my chart and let me make sure that I'm sharing my screen and do a new share and share my screen. So, as you can see my chart, this is Euro CAD on the 4-hour. And as you can see, the last day, today, this went ahead and made its big major correction. So whoever was in this chart or on EuroCAD made some money. This was one of my trades for the week that I was watching. These are my top 3 that I was watching this week. These are some other ones I was just keeping an eye on. I'm going to share also how I know when to look at what. I also do fundamentals. So that means I watch the news, or I'm aware of the news. So as you can see, this chart is all marked up, and I knew that this would be moving this day and also Wednesday because I follow the fundamentals, and I'm going to show you how I track that and what I do. So as you can see, my chart is all marked up. Before I begin, this is for the newbies, because I mean the people who've been in for a while, I'm sure you guys do this. Sunday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm marking charts so that when I'm ready to enter the market, my chart is all marked up, ready for me to go. And I make adjustments along the way. When I mark this chart up, we were right here. I marked this chart up, and this is where I was at this bottom place right here. We had our other Forex and Chill. We were talking about this, and I was here on Friday. As you can see, I had something here to show that this is where I was looking for the market to go, and that's where it went. So we're going to see by marking charts, how do we figure out which way it's going to go, or we're expecting it to go? Because no, the charts don't care about you. The charts do what it do, and you have to follow what's on the chart. So let me pick another place. So I don't want to mess the little chart up. And this is something I get from, let me clean this chart, our mentor, another mentor of mine, which is Clint. And he talks about boxing in price. This is what I say. As a trader, you have 3 jobs, because he says a little bit more than me. He has to say a little bit less than me. As a trader, you have 3 jobs. First one is to box in price. Second one is to respond to price. Third one is to know how much you're going to risk. Those are my 3 things as a trader that I have to know every time I trade. So let's talk about the first one, marking up the charts. So I'm going to start from Monday, and actually, I actually start from weekly, but I'm going to start from the monthly with you guys. And what I am looking for myself is for my current high and my current low. So as I look at this, I'm looking at this area being my current low and my top area here being my current high. This is what I do. Now, when I go to my weekly, I'm even closer into price. And when I look at my weekly, I'm looking at what's a midpoint or where's an area where there was major response. As you guys can see, it's in the middle of this market. This is where I'm looking at because this is what I'm doing right now. So I am going to actually choose this little area right here. This is a place where price just keeps on reacting at. I can also, for some people who like to be a little bit detailed, I see price was held up here on this end, and I see price was held down a lot over here on this end. It broke through, it held it down, it held it up, it held it down. I can put it here or here. As I get closer, I can definitely add more places. But let's go back to, I'm gonna do it here. And you know what, since I'm going back and forth on where I should add it, that means I need to go to the next time frame because I'm not gonna force anything. We're not forcing, we're just boxing in market. So as you can see, I'm here. And one thing I did not add that I will add now is my trend line. If anybody is looking at this market, we know definitely this is a trend line down. For me, I color code everything, so my trend lines are always yellow. And let me not cut off any wicks. I don't cut off any wicks here because on the daily, weekly, or monthly, cutting off a wick could be hundreds of pips. But what I will do as I get in closer to price, I am seeing that I have a new trend line that I can place here, and then definitely a trend line I can place right here. Because this is the most current impulse that I'm looking at. So I'm just placing this right there. So one thing that you guys saw is that I had like a little channel going on. That channel I had going on, I'm going to actually place on my 4 hour. But if you see here, there is definitely this little channel that's going on. Price in this area, I would say beginning here, it created this most recent channel. So even though we see all of this channel, this is the most recent channel for me. Going down to the 4 hour, clear my screen up. Look at this. I'm gonna mark my little channel. I'm actually gonna cut some things off only because it just made a break and I want to show that break. I wanna show you guys that break. So let me go here. And as you can see, when you look at current price action, it made that break a few times. Faked people out, faked me out as well. But when we get closer to price action, we are going to see that there are things that we need to be looking at, patterns that will let us know what's really going on. So this little leg channel right here, as I see, is the descending channel. Descending channel means we're looking for a reversal. That means we knew that this was going to eventually come, and we're looking for it to go up some more. This channel, I've heard and I've tested that since we are looking for this to reverse, descending channel means reversal. In this channel, it is very acceptable for us to always look for buys. We're looking for buys. Why? Because we're expecting for the trend to be up. So every time market got to the bottom, people are buying. Because at any time, this could hit the bottom like it did here. Let me go ahead and do this right here. And I'm going to keep it there because this right here is also a little structural point. Once it got here, it went ahead and broke it, came down, broke it again, came down, and kept going. So let me add some more structure points to this. I'm looking to my left and I'm seeing some areas here that need my attention. I'm looking here and I'm looking here. Let me see if I want to bring this over. No, I'm good. I'm looking left and I'm looking here. And this is on my 4 hours because, guys, this is where I do my take profits at as I'm going up, as I'm looking for areas to get into the market. These are places where I'm looking and saying, okay, I could take market price. I can take me some profits at these areas. And let me get that right there. And this right here was a place that where it broke to. And I stayed in the market because I'm expecting for it to go up here. So as you can see, these places that I'm putting it in, I'm looking left and seeing structure, but I'm also looking along the way. It respected it here. There was reaction here. There was reaction here. So all these little reaction areas are places that I'm using as my take profits. And one thing I do want to do is that wherever people put their price, wherever they see the market structure is where you can place yours. Some people don't like to do a lot of lines. Some people want to keep it very simple. Some people want to know where their next point is coming up. I'm going to put something here because it's very obvious to me that there's an area here, and I would actually even bring this down where price is going to have some reaction. And I'm making this a little zone area because I see that this is really where it held down. This is where it held down. This is where it held down with some peekaboos. So for me, I'm really overall looking for this price to go all the way up here. So if you look at my other one, I actually have price coming from down here to up here, which is 357 pips. And that's how I mark my charts up. So as you notice, I only did monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour. When I'm looking on the lower time frames for me, this is me looking to see what the market is now doing so that I can get ready to get in. I'm going to the 1 hour to see in more close definition what it's doing. I look at the 1 hour to get my stop losses. I'm on my 15 minutes to see what patterns are forming so that I know what's going on. This pattern right here let me know that I was going to have another fall. This right here, anybody knows? Bearish flag. Impulse down, flag. I knew it was going to drop. I'm looking for my patterns on my 15-minute, even my 5 minutes. I'm looking for my patterns. I'm looking for patterns because the patterns is telling me that something is going to happen. Look at this impulsive move. I knew it was going to keep pressing up. Look at this pullback, impulse, pullback. The moves were very corrective. One thing I also noticed too, not only were they corrective, when it started back, it's quote unquote impulse. These moves are all very corrective, very corrective. So something is telling me that this may be coming down sometime soon. Now, again, you have to remember and you have to be flexible. You really got to be flexible. Something can happen in news, something can happen anywhere, and it can make it keep going up. We saw it in pound pairs this week. Please do not be locked into what you mark up. The market changes. These are corrective moves, and then something can happen, and then it can impulse up like news. But I'm looking for this right here, little corrective ascending channel to actually make a fall and then come back up. It could actually hit here and come up. So how did I know me? Before I even go there, does anybody have any questions? Let me do an unmute before I show you how I knew that news was going to move here. Let me unmute people. Or people, you can unmute yourselves actually. I believe you can.
Yes, everyone should be able to unmute if you have questions.
Any questions? Did anybody follow EuroCAD? Did anybody make money on EuroCAD?
I actually just drew it up a little bit ago,
Me.
doing my homework. So yeah, I got about the same thing as you did.
Okay. Okay. And remember, we're gonna all see something different. All see something different. I love people posting their charts because I'm like, I had to turn my head to the side and be like, oh, I didn't see that. Who else played EuroCAD this week or marked it up?
I did. I had the same markup, of course.
Oh, you shouldn't mind. I'm being nice with you guys because I love to put my stuff in jail. People laugh and make fun of that. But I want to know if I'm going to buy, where am I going to have a pullback at? So I do put extra lines. I got my little purple stuff. I got all these little things up on here. So please don't be shy in marking your charts up to reflect what you need to see. I should have been making 494 pips. Okay, Kenneth, you did too? Is it Chiomara? You did too? Okay, good.
You knew people on here when she was talking about the flag. Do all of you new traders understand what a flag is? Do you need her to explain that to you? We have impulse, flag, and continuation.
Yeah, can you go over that flag part, please?
Of course, of course. So before I go and find a flag on the chart, I'm going to talk about a flag that's called a bearish flag. That is when you see an impulse, meaning strong, aggressive candles. You want these candles to be strong. You see an impulse, and then after you see these strong, aggressive candles, you see now the market start to pull back in the opposite way. It could kind of go like this in the opposite way. It can go like this in the opposite way. It can even make a flat channel and just bounce up and down. But you want the correction to make the flag portion, the correction part of the flag, to actually pull back in its opposite direction. So this is letting you know that this impulse is being confirmed by this flag portion. Let me take this right here off. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go back to where I was at. Going to go back here. You see this little portion right here? Impulse. Big, strong candles. It even broke through my trend line. Big, strong candles. Impulse. Then when it got to here, I'm on my 5 minute, but when it got to here, you see it pulled back. It did a flag. This is the confirmation that we are now going to see price continue upwards. If it goes in the impulse, which in this case is up, and it stops and it just comes in the opposite direction, don't be sad, just don't get in the market. This though is confirming that the trade will more than likely continue in the way of the impulse. If I get a little bit closer, it made like a little channel. Flag, correction, continuation. This little channel right here is your flagging portion. When it did this, I knew that it was going to continue to go up. Now, continuations are not always impulses. In this case, continuations were corrective. And this right here is called an ascending channel. So let's go back. I talked about a flag. If this impulse had went up like this, and then I saw the corrective smaller candles go like this, you see how it's impulse and then it goes in the direction of the impulse? That would have told me that I am expecting for there to be a reversal. This channel going up to the side means ascending channel, which is a reversal. This is an impulse up, correction in the opposite direction. saying that's going to be a continuation. So this is a continuation move. This is a reversal move. And this right here is just a long reversal move. And I'm saying that to me, this is a reversal move because it's kind of going at an angle and it's very corrective. I have learned, write this down, new people, old people, you already know this. Corrective moves typically indicate a reversal. Impulsive moves typically indicate a continuation of the trend. These are little key things that you will learn and you will know. Take notes, take notes, take notes. Any questions? Anybody have any more questions about the actual, we talked about flag.
Yeah, can I ask you a favor?
Sure.
I think if you zoom out to your 1 hour, they can see it. I know like the older folks like us see there on the 1 hour, maybe it's more predominant to them there.
Here you go.
And then try your 15-minute so they can see.
Okay.
Great job, by the way. Great markup.
Oh, thank you.
Congrats on all those pips, girlfriend.
I learned a lesson. I'm gonna share the lesson I learned this week, though. Didn't follow my own stuff.
Let us see your 15-minute, just so they'll see the different ways it can look on different time frames. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. So you guys see this, it's going at an angle up. The impulse was up, the angle was up. The angle going up means reversal. Angle going down means correction. Doesn't always every single time 100%, but we're looking at 80 to 90% of the time this is what's going to do. Sometimes a little bit less when the news comes out, but these are the things that we're looking for in the market. So I've gotten used to from Miss Gigi's teaching, looking at 5 minutes, but yes, 15 minutes, you can see it. 1 hour, you definitely can see it. So anybody getting in here, it could correct up a little bit more. How would I find out how far it's going to correct? Look left. What do you see when you look left? Let's keep on going. See, we have price that got pushed down in the same exact area. Look at this, even when it wicked. Look how far the wick went. And if I look at this wick over here way to the left, I'll put it at the top and I'm draw a little line. Look at here. It's like magic. First of all, always look left. Secondly, whenever you are marking up anything, the market will let you know what to do. You just have to listen to the market. Do not get hooked into, oh, I think it's going up, so it's going to keep going up. Please don't get hooked into that. The market will tell you. And this, if news comes out, it could push you past here and give us an even higher high for it to drop. But for me, when it drops, I'm looking for it to make a big drop. New people, the bigger the impulse, the bigger the correction. So this can come all the way right down here to 86 points. This could come all the way down here. How do we know how to find those things? Most people know. Everybody knows that that follows with Gigi, because Gigi used to be the Fibonacci queen. I had to learn Fibonacci because Quinn was like, Fibonacci, Fibonacci. And I was like, oh, what's Fibonacci? But what I do is, what I'm waiting for is the ultimate high. I'm waiting for the ultimate high. If this is the ultimate high, what I'm going to do is not touch it there. What I'm going to do is follow my trend and go from the bottom impulse, the impulse up, to my top ending impulse. And I'm going to actually put here to see what my numbers are, where my pullback numbers are. How far it would pull back if it turns around from this area. The first one is the 23. These are Fibonacci levels. You guys will learn this. If this, for the new people, you guys will learn this. And it'll be easy when you learn this. It has new levels. You old people, you guys know this. 23, 38, 50, 61. The market likes to give back at the 50 area. as you can see, I have a marking that is pretty close to the 50 area, which is where I said I would sell it off to. I was looking here, it has a 50 here. But even though the market likes to give us back 50%, the number one place for it to go is a 618. This is a very likely area that this is where it could pull back, because look at all of this. Look at this big impulse. The bigger the impulse, the bigger the correction. And it's a great place where you could buy it down, but if you follow the trend, new people, let's follow the trend. And following the trend, you would wait till it finished pulling back. And then you want to now buy in the continuation of the trend. This selling for me would be me paying a pullback, me getting those extra pips. If I am just learning, I'm always hearing it being told in IML that if the trend is your friend. So again, you can get these pips 116 at the max, 100 and whatever, 86 at the least. But I'm not for sure. The market needs to open again. I got to see what it's going to do. I got to see, how far this ascending channel is going to go. Anybody have any more questions before I go on to something else? Because I really want to hear people talk. I really want to see people mark up their own charts. I want to see if there's any questions out there. And I want to give somebody a chance to mark up their chart. Becca, I'll pick on you. You want to mark a chart up for us, Becca? Kenneth, Pip, Grant, Ace.
Come on, Eric. Come on, Kenneth. Come on, Becca.
I would, but I'm on my tablet. I don't even know how to work it yet.
Okay.
Thank you so much, because I do want to mark up.
I know, because you're awesome. Eric, Grant, who wants to mark up any chart and just show people that this skill set is achievable? Pick on people. I'm gonna pick on people. Okay, y'all being scared. It's okay. It's okay.
Do you guys want us to pause the recording while you mark up, or are you good with the recording?
Gigi.
Yes, here. Hello.
Hello, Gigi.
I can mark up.
All right. Eric's going to mark up for us. Woo! Share your screen, Eric.
I'm going to stop sharing. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, you guys, I got to brag on Eric. He's been trading about 6 weeks, and he's like grown his account by 6,000% or more. And I'm not exaggerating. So he's a new beast. He's definitely going to hit his 6 figures soon.
Now I have a different strategy than most people. I like to find, first of all, in my month, I like to go out and find exactly where my high points are, and I try to stay within 2017. So this could be my high point for, we're looking at gold, and gold made a lot of money in one day, really did. So then I'm gonna go to my low, and then I'll switch to my weekly. Come out of there. And then I'll go in and I'm gonna find my support and resistance points. But what I'm looking for, and when I pick my pairs every week, my strategy is I want to look either wise to the ones just for my favorites for the week. I will look for my highs closest to my ceiling or closest to my floor. And the reason I do that is because my goal is to become a position trader. I don't like sitting and looking at my phone all the time. Some people do, and I really don't want to. So I would have wanted to get in here, and I would have wanted to ride gold down to its bottom, and got right at 17,000 pips there. So that's where I want to ride it to. today we wrote it for that little impulse. Today I think it was like 1150 because this is actually on the weekly. So then I'll go in and do it exactly like Mahogani does. She goes in and find areas of resistance. So I'm looking at this as area of resistance because it resisted here, here, and here. But I'm gonna go to my because I got two areas of resistance there, and then in the middle here I got areas of resistance here. So I'm looking at gold right here. It hit one of my areas, and it has a chance to either come back to the high side, but if it fights through, I can look at it to come down to this other area of resistance on my weekly. And I know Gigi loves daily. So on my daily, I'm gonna go ahead and do my trend line. So right now, price is coming down. So I just want to do a trend line. And if we look at it, already broke that trend line mark. So it should keep on coming down. Because if we're looking at a daily, even the weekly, we were in a sell. And you want to look for your sell points because that's your trend, overall trend, because the monthly, weekly, and daily are the strongest trends. Even though you're looking at, say if you're looking at your minute mark, right here is showing the sell, but each one of them may be different. Like right here, we're not actually, it's in limbo on whether it's going to a buy or a sell. But even like Clint says, your monthly, and Terrell says the same thing, weekly and daily are going to be our strongest trends. And then I'll come down to the 4 hour and I'll look at where we're at on the 4 hour. We broke the trend mark, so I don't need to really mess with my 4 hour because I've already broke this trend. So now I'm gonna come to the hourly. And still my trend has been broken. But we can go even deeper and see if we can get another good trend line going. Okay, for right here. So now I'm otherwise looking for, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in a channel on the 15 because I can see a clear channel there that is actually descending. So we may look for a price reversal because if you look at it on the daily, this is a point of resistance. It did turn here and it could go right back to the top. But I like to, if I would get in here at the very top, I would want to ride this as long as it was a sell. As far down as I can ride it till I realize it's going to turn, and then I'm getting out of the market. It may be a day. It may be a week. I know like Terrell and them, I think he said the longest one he's ever had has been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brother, if he's on here tonight, he held one for 4 months from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, and that's
The longest one he's held is 45 days. But yeah, to be a position trader, you would catch that whole weekly move.
that whole weekly
top to
move.
bottom.
Let me come here and get closer.
And for those of you who are new, you don't just hold that one position. You take partial profit and open up the positions on the way down.
Yeah, in gold today, I took 6 or 7 different positions.
Nice.
And wrote it, and I was taking them at 1.0. And I wrote it all the way down 1,100 pips.
Yeah.
So those of you, the new people, it's called stacking.
And what I'll do is my highest one, I'll go ahead and say gold when it started here. Here's where I caught gold. I actually had a markup on this today. I caught gold at the very top right here. And when I did, and wrote it down, when it got to here, I grabbed one here, I grabbed one here, I grabbed one here, and I grabbed one here. So I was just stacking, but once I got to this one, I took and sold out these two. Now I'm not gambling with my money anymore. I'm gambling with the market's money the rest of the way down. My money's cleared. My money's in the bank, and I ain't worried about my money anymore. So I'm just using somebody else's money to play with all the way down. And I got out right here because the trend seemed to weaken, and I knew if I felt like it was going to come back to a reversal on me.
And y'all, this is where learning those flags and patterns will come in handy, because after each flag, you can open a new position.
And see, that is, and see, you have, what you have to understand is you can look at, say I got a, you have different type, when you say, like Mahogany said, you got different type flags. If I got a flag that goes, I got a flag that goes like this, then it comes up and goes down on this time frame. That is not a flag of this time frame. That is a flag of a higher time frame. So you need to, like, if you're on the 1 hour, go to the 4 hour and find and set your time, set your actual spot that you want to find that flag on. And what I usually do is, say if I was wanting to find this flag, even though that's not a flag on a higher time frame, that's a flag of this time frame. I will go and set my time and go back to the next time frame to see what that flag looks like.
Guys, what he's talking about is basically, you, even though you're entering on the smaller time frames, you need to always remind yourself by going to the higher time frame which way you are intending to trade. If you're intended to trade a buy, go to your 4 hour, your daily, whichever time frame you're choosing to be what's leading you to your buy or sell. Always go to those time frames so you can remind yourself what direction you're going to. So he when he's seeing a flag on the 60 minute time frame, on the 15 minute, he's going to look at the 1 hour. He's going to look at the 4 hour to see what's going on there and what it really is. It could just be a pullback. It could be news. But his higher time frames will let him know what's going on.
So if you would have marked this up as a channel ahead of time, you would already know that you're looking for a pullback. And actually, before the market closed, gold pulled back and started heading back up. This is where it's heading up.
Yeah, I placed a buy right before it closed.
Yeah, I placed a buy right before it closed too. So I'm actually, I think.
You can tell we're in the same circle.
Because I was in it for sale from up here. I said, you know what? And actually, I checked price. That's where you're at right there. 345 already. So what I did was I went to right here. Matter of fact, this is where I was checking it.
Yes.
The price actually went up from where it closed in the market. In the market, it closed at 12.91 something. So it's actually went up since the market actually closed. So if y'all, the new people, this website will give you, you compare any pairs against each other. to give you, say if you decided that you wanted to, if you were in a buy when the Friday came, bell came and it locked you out and you cannot make a trade, come here, check your price, comparing the pairs you're holding. And what I'll do is, like, say about 2 hours before market opens, I'll come here, I'll check the pairs I'm holding. If that price has went the opposite direction of where I was actually intending for it to go, I am setting that thing I'm getting out of it as soon as the market opens, because I want to, even though I set my stop loss, if it's not near that stop loss and it's reversing and going in the opposite direction, I want to go ahead and get out even though it's not at my stop loss. And always set stop losses before you go into the weekend.
Yeah.
Don't go into the weekend without a stop loss.
And he's saying what's key, because I look at this too. When the market, before the market opens, I'm like, okay, where am I at? Okay, I'm 15 pips up. I'm 45 pips down. I have an eye, just like how he has an eye, so that I know, like, oh my God, there's a big gap in here. It's going to make me some money, so that when the market opens, I can close it, so I can keep those 70 pips that I gained while the market was closed, or close it before I lose a lot of the pips I probably had before.
And here's another pair I love, but it was a pain in my butt this week.
Oh,
I love this pair. I love it to death.
it's pretty good for me.
It wasn't right here because I was looking at a channel on the 4 hour. I was looking for this thing to see what day is that. That is, yeah, right here. But you look at it on a smaller time frame. We can go back, see what the 1 hour looks like. I made good money on it, but it was a fight to get there. Especially last night, I was waiting for it to. I had already marked it up, and here's what I expected. I expected it was back here, and this channel was actually tighter. It was right here. So I expected this move. I expected that move. But when they hit that move, I said, it's coming. We're going down. At least 400 pips was the next support. It was 600 to there, I think. Yeah, right at 600. If I come from the bottom, it'd have been about 600 right there. But what happened was, apparently overnight, I didn't look at news. My fault. And so luckily, thank God, I set a stop loss right here. Because if I had not set a stop loss there, I wake up about 5:30. So there's where I'm at. Right there. So without a stop loss, I'm 34, I'll say 37 pips in the hole, but 37 pips with US 30 is not 37 pips with anybody else. That's about $700 if you are at just a 0.20. Well, no, 0.05 is about $700 is where that would be. So you're in a hole. So I just waited because I saw that it was the news. Then Gigi come on and said, yeah, it was the news that pushed it up. So I just waited till it got right here, and I just wrote it down to here. And got 187 pips.
Nice.
So I
what was
traded.
the trigger to let you know that it was going to drop there?
Because when it was going into into this flag, it was going to this channel right here that was actually
Ascending channel?
ascending channel. Then it dropped, and then I knew once it dropped, it was just actually going to retest up. When it got to the very top of that retest, it came straight down, and so I just wrote it down. And this one day, I traded one day. You don't have to trade every day. If you get your pips on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, don't get greedy on Thursday and Friday. I had a little bit of action on probably Tuesday, and then it was dead on Wednesday for me. It was dead on Thursday for me because the pairs I picked just weren't what I wanted them to be. And then I looked at matter of fact, I got a notification from Terrell, and everybody should have got it because it was in the chat, and it was in the Telegram to watch gold. It's going to drop. I said, okay, well, I'll watch gold. And so that one drop and this right here made my day.
Hey, for the new people, could you point out at the end of your ascending channel where it peaked looking left, how many points you've had there? Why, another reason you would have been expecting that drop?
Where are you looking at now?
Looking left.
Oh, right there.
Bring it down. Right there, look left. Just touch that like 5 times.
Yeah.
So that's another reason you would be expecting it to drop looking left.
Yes,
And
because
it didn't surpass the previous high.
it's already tested there. It didn't pass it. And when I saw it this morning, I had already put a mark there, and I cleared my charts earlier and then remarked them up. But I put one there to wait for this here to bounce off of it, because that was a move that news caused. That's how deadly news is. In your sleep, news can kill you.
Oh,
Don't we know?
kill you or make you get mad that you
The
did.
market giveth and the market taketh away.
Because I was telling Gigi, I said, we're at the top of our point. She said, are you in? I said, I'm in, and I got my stop loss set. I went to sleep expecting to be down here somewhere making money.
Because you set a stop loss. You
I
lived
say-
to trade again and you made that and
Yeah.
way more back.
Yes. So I was expecting this today, and I'm just by being in this group, I've learned very quickly, and I do have a mentor. So that is one thing you need to focus on. Me and my wife sat down one day at, I think, what was I, 3 or 4 weeks in, DG?
Yeah,
And
because you've only been in, 5, 6 weeks maybe?
5 or 6 weeks, and we sat down. I'm like, you know what? I do good now, but what can I do? What can I do with the knowledge? So I'm like, I need a mentor. And so we had a special guest on a Friday night, ForexNChill. And as soon as I got off that meeting, I'm like, Gigi, I need you to hook me up. I need this guy. And she was like, okay, I'll get you in contact with him. And me and my wife talked about it. My wife said, you know what, that's an investment. And so just 3 weeks with this guy, I've made my money back that I, as a mentor, because mentors, you have to give them something for them to give you something. What I gave him, I've already made that back like 3 times. So
How many truck payments did you make? 6 months?
oh God, well, on the first one, I made my wife's car payment 6 times. I made 6 months payments. That was my first takeout. This time, I'm not taking anything out. It's gonna sit there until, because now the money that's in there is money that the markets gave to me, so I can rob it. We're looking at this as if we're robbing a bank, and it's legal to rob it. And I'm gonna rob it every week.
There's new people on here. This is what happens when you mark up charts like this every week. How many charts are you marking up a week, Eric?
I do 50.
Wow.
And you say 50 because I do my 50, and then I do my mentor's 50. Because he requires me to do 25. I do my 25 and I do his 25 because he requires me to do 25 on top of my 25.
How many are you doing every week, Mahogany?
I'm sticking to 25 every week.
Yeah, that's how many. I do 25 to 30, depending on what I'm expecting in the market. And I know Mahogani, I think you had a few more things you wanted to cover. If you want to do
Yes.
some more of your stuff before you let some other people mark up, or
Let me get
Yeah.
you go ahead.
You. So a lot of stuff that Eric talked about is part of a lot of what we're going to touch a little bit on each of that. He talked about patterns. We went over patterns with the flag, the ascending channel. As you notice, when he did his when he saw a pattern and he blocked the pattern out, and he knew that it was going to follow that particular pattern until it broke it. This is a pattern. This is a channel. When you mark the channel up and it breaks it, it's letting you know that the pattern is changing. If I go on, here's my 4 hour. If I go on my 1 hour, this is a channel. Once it breaks it, it's letting me know that I need to look for a different. I didn't learn this whole pattern thing until I was fairly well into the game. I didn't learn this pattern to really look at the patterns until November. I had knew about the flags, but the ascending channel, descending channel, I saw them, but I didn't know what they meant. Once you know what they mean, you can play like he saw. He saw an ascending channel. He knew that the market was about to reverse. When you see a flag, you know that the market is probably going to continue. Please, please, guys, be aware of your patterns. Also, the next thing that I do want to talk about is we're going to do fundamentals, because he talked about news. News is what gets me out of the bed. News is how I'm able to control what different pairs I'm getting into. What I do is whenever I open up my my browser, I have particular certain little tabs that open up. One of them is Forex. Every day I know what news is happening. And every Sunday, I do it on Fridays, but I noticed that there could be changes to these over the weekend. So typically I try to just do it on Sunday. I have my little chart set up for the week of what I need to be looking at. And Gigi, I put this all together in my little trading roadmap. Gigi was like, get a 5-ring notebook, put your goals, money management, time management, your setups, and your strategy, what you do. So I started putting it all together. And when I put it all together, I was able to see some things. This week, February 24th, I took what I saw on my Forex. I look at this on Sunday, and I let myself know what are red folder, what are orange folders. And I let myself know, okay, Euro, remind myself, Euro moves with USD news, what the DXY is looking like, what news is going, US news was all this week, starting Tuesday, NZD was Sunday and Wednesday, going all the way down to CAD, Wednesday through Friday, Euro, Wednesday through Friday. Because I keep this up and I know what news is coming out and which one is going to have the most news, I know what to look at. EuroCAD, I knew Wednesday through Friday, I was going to get some big things. On Wednesday, I got a big sale. Friday, I got a big buy. I only knew this because I know that news moves the market. So this is what I print out for myself. I have another one every week. This is what I was looking at, this 1, 2, and 3. And these other ones were from the past week that in the past that were stopping and going, stalling. And so I need to keep an eye on these because first of all, EuroCAD and PoundCAD move exactly the same. If you're making money in EuroCAD, you should be in PoundCAD. So I'm definitely, if that's my number one, I'm looking at PoundCAD so I can get some money off of that. PoundCAD I had moving Monday through Friday because I saw what the news was going to be. News for me pressures the market. News is you need your structure, you need your technicals, hands down, but your fundamentals will drive a lot of things. And as you can see on our charts, even though we have our news, let me go to somewhere. This is my US 30. I actually don't even really play this. One of the people I work with, this is her thing, and I marked it up, and I was like, oh, okay, I can get into demo with this and see how I do. But let's go back to my pair. Let me go back to my list. Euro CAD. This was Friday at 5 o'clock. This impulse.
No, she is on the Pacific Coast. So for those of you on the East Coast, that was our 8 o'clock.
Yes. Oh, and also make sure that when you have your Forex and your Forex factory, that you set the times for your time. I actually need to refresh this because it still says 5:18 because that's when I refreshed it. But make sure it has your time. But if you look at here, Friday at 5:30, we had some CAD news at 5:30. We also had some US news at 5:30. But before that, we had some Euro news at 2 a.m. When I go back to my chart and I look at my chart, look at 2 a.m., look what it started to do. News literally moved this thing. We were waiting for this move all the way back here. When it broke out of this channel, remember, people are buying and selling in this channel. Since we know it's going to actually go into a buy, people are, every time it hits the bottom of the channel, buy. They're buying, they're buying. If they're buying, that's 141 pips. If they're buying, that's 148 pips. Here was a structure area. And I just knew that from looking left. I think I deleted was a red one. From here to here, 110. When it broke it, we were all looking for a complete buy. But look what it did. It came back. It pulled back. One thing is if I go down to the lower time frame, one thing that would have let me know, look at this impulse, flag. Remember what we said? Anytime it impulses, you see big aggressive candles, and then you see smaller candles push back in the opposite direction. We knew that this was a big indication that this sale was coming. And this actually did a retouch. It pulled back and it just like boop, hit this line and then fell down. And then we have, if we go to a lower time frame, we see impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening to the market? Oh, but I can say, oh my God, but if I follow the pattern, impulse correction, I knew all this was happening. And then this little white line, I had it there before this hit there. And I was like, oh my God, is it gonna burst? It burst through this trend line. It burst through this trend line. Then it burst through. I was like, okay, just be patient. What happened? News hit and bye-bye. Just complete opposite direction. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Now the lesson I learned is I woke up at 1:30 and I saw this because I set my alarm at 1:30 every morning to catch all of this. And I saw this and I was like, okay, whatever. I stayed here for a little bit. Let me go to the lower time frame because when you're watching the market, you don't see it all happening like that. You see these little bitty stuff. I saw this and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to sleep. I'm gonna set my alarm for 2 o'clock because the news come on. So 1:58. Wake me up. I get up and then I see this. I see this little bitty one. I'm like, okay, I don't woke up twice. Mind you, I did have this and it told me this is my roadmap. Euro, Wednesday through Friday. Friday we had big news for CAD. I knew this was coming up, but I said, good night, I'm going to sleep. This happened. Then this happened. So my alarm goes off 4:30 every morning because on my side of the world, the market moves. When it went off, I was like, it ain't doing nothing. I didn't get up. So when I came here at 5 o'clock, I came in here like, oh my God, it's moving. It's moving. And I'm on a lower time frame. And it's just pushing. Okay, I'm like, okay, waiting for the pullback. Push. Let me wait for the pullback. Okay, it ain't pulling back. Let me get in the market. Because I had already known that this was coming up. I had to go remind myself. Why am I stalling, Mahogany? You know that this is when the news come out. It's making a move. We've been waiting for this all the way back here. So look at all of this, able to get. And then I got out because I thought it was going to be here. And this little thing right here tricked me. I got out. I got out here. I was like, okay, I'll get back in. So got back in. Then I saw this. I'm like, okay, let me get out. But it kept on going. So I said, okay, I'm not going to play in and out. I'm just going to stay out of it. But when I saw it come here and it pulled back, I said, okay, impulse, pull back. Let me get in it. So right when it broke this one, I got in it and I'm still in it. But that's how news moves your pair. So be aware of your news. Please, please, please. To me, it moves it. This is my little, I print this out every week. I've updated every week. If you see, I have all, when I first started doing this, I've changed it up and I've fine-tuned it because I already knew I had Forex Factory up here, but now I just started fine-tuning it. Anybody?
And guys, I'll just like to throw in, you will notice if there's big news due on a pair a day or two before, it'll start consolidating and not move a lot. It won't make really big moves. It waits for the news to move the market.
Yes.
And sometimes you'll see patterns right before the news hits, like where she was trading EuroCAD on that 5 minute, it had already made a little impulse and a flag all the way from the bottom.
Right here.
Look at it on your 15 minute. I think it might be a little cleaner. You see that
Right.
impulse flag? It had did 2 of them. So that let us know it was getting ready to go up.
This was my Mahogany. You always show up. You always show up. When you don't show up, you miss deals. When you do not show up, you miss trades. My alarm had went off twice before. I got up and nothing was happening. When my alarm went off again, I could have gotten it from right here because I would have saw this flag. I would have saw the impulse. Okay, I slept past this impulse. It's always though, okay, impulse, correction, continuation, I can get in. But I slept on it, y'all. That's another lesson. That was my lesson for today. I don't care how sleepy I am. I need to open my eyes up and come sit here just to give a look. And the thing was, when I woke up, when the alarm went off and I ignored it, I set call levels. And my call levels, I thought it didn't go off. I just slept through my call level. So when it hit this level here, I did it for, I looked in the past and I put a line here because this is where it happened in the past. If I go all the way back, look left, look at what I'm seeing right here, left. So I knew I had a call level here. I set a call level above price and I set a call level below price. And I wanted it to let me know either way so that I can look at the market to see what was going on. And my call level and my alarm sound very different. I guess I gotta change my call level for it to keep on going off for a long time because this did not wake me up. I did not wake up. But my alarm, when it went off at 4:30, I should have been here. But anyway, that is it for the actual thing of fundamentals. Anybody have questions? Who looks at the news?
Every single day. And I do the same thing. You know, I had started a chart like this a while back, and I always add the news to all of my analysis. Because if I'm expecting a new move, I can expect it around the news.
That whole chart, excuse me, that chart setup, is that something that's already pre-made or that's something you do?
Oh no, I make this. I love making charts and presentations. That's just me. So I actually made this for myself.
Okay.
Yep. And it just
Very nice.
it'll grow. When I first did it, it was like this, and it wasn't working for me because I was putting notes here, and then I found out, oh, I could put notes in TradingView. Put it in TradingView, duh. Then it started to grow, and then it's like now it's got bigger, like for something for me to use. And I'm not looking at anything really but my high probability trades. If these aren't moving, I'm looking at my other ones, and it's because news is going to move it somehow. especially if it's going to be moved. Like odd moved all last week, and odd pairs were on fire for the whole odd thing, like pound odd. There was some good stuff on pound odd last week. I knew to be aware and ready for it. Pound CAD, and I don't even have it on here, but I was following pound CAD as well. So please, guys, be aware of news. News is your friend. Hello, Manchester. Hello, Manchester. Easy way to copy the pair and checklist information on the right. Is there an easy way to copy the pair and checklist? Oh, this right here, this is something I made up for myself. So just make up one for yourself. I just put it together for myself. Any suggestions? Yes, just make it, go to Excel. This is just all tables I put together. Yep, really easy. So the next thing that I do have for you guys, other than for me, everybody's gonna have their own way. When you first begin, if you don't have the right guidance, which you guys are lucky to be here, when you don't have the right guidance, you're going through so many different strategies, and you have to find your own, find what fits you, because there's a million strategies out there. But then when I got into a focus, and I got into Gwen's group, Gwen got onto it. She started to have a vision of where she needed to go. And when she said, I'm going to share this vision with other people, I was lucky enough to be there and see her start her task, her track. And then she started introducing all these things into our group. And then we met Clint. We're following her. And now all these strategies I had in front of me, it was a more clear path. And I had heard about Lindor. I went to look at Lindor on IML, but he was going so fast and so quick. I was just like, okay, whatever. He talking about flags and flag. I remember the thing that stuck out to me from Lindor was flag. If I can say anything from Lindor, it was flag. I knew flag. I couldn't see him, but I knew flag. And when Gwen started getting to that track and that vision, and I started following, it was like now I had a clear path for myself. I had a clear strategy for myself. So you guys, you're lucky to be on this path, and it took me following another path and other paths before I got onto this one, for it to be the right path for me. We're going to talk about, anybody have anything about news, or you can tweak the one I sent out last week. Okay. News, anybody does news? There's 45 people on here, other than me, Gwen, and some of the people.
I look at news, so even though I didn't look at it last night.
You know what? It gets us all. It gets us all. But I'm sure you learn that lesson every time something happens, right?
Every single time.
I'm telling you guys.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. Wow. I didn't think you guys were going to be on tonight, and a friend of mine told me that you all are on, and I'm so glad I got on. Last night I was in that GCAD trade, and maybe I was looking at something wrong. I saw where it could possibly go up, but it started going down, and I was looking on the 15-minute chart, and I had a trend line, a support and resistance line set. And once it broke that and closed on the hour, I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and get in and, ride it to the next level. But I wondered whether it would go up or not. And what I didn't do, and I normally do check the news, and because it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 or 6 o'clock, whatever time it was. And I had already checked the news earlier, but I didn't check it for later. And I was so not happy because I was in the wrong direction. Oh. I had a stop loss, but I was just like, and I was scared to get in because for like the first 20, 30 minutes, there was no pullback. Mm. I mean, it just kept going. And I was like, I can't risk it because I didn't know if it was going to, turn around on me or what have you. Then I'd really be jacked up. But I'm glad that you kind of talked about that. I think you said you were in UCAD, right?
I was in UCAD.
Okay.
And British pound. Let's go like I told you, for me, EuroCAD and British pound CAD, they tend to move together. So if I'm in one as a buy, I'm in the other one as a buy. So let's.
But you said G pound and GCAD, and what's the other one you said?
EuroCAD.
EuroCAD. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They tend to mimic each other.
Yes.
Hey, Mahogany.
Yes.
Hey, this is Jamie. What's going on?
Hello.
Hey, can I help? Can I help the young lady? What she had went through?
Oh, of course, because I know you see it. Of course, go ahead. I'm gonna stop sharing.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I appreciate it. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Jamie here in Saudi Arabia.
Just cut the rope.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Good evening, Jimmy.
Hey, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. It's your boy Jamie, aka Prince Abu Nabi. Cut the rope. All right, everybody can see my screen right here.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. I'm gonna kind of. I just want to just interject. I'm not trying to take over for what Mahogany is doing, because Mahogany, you're doing such an awesome job. You're technical. You're very technical. And I tell you that is some good stuff that you're giving us. But I want to kind of help you guys out when it comes down to having eagle eyes. I want to hear everybody say eagle eye.
Eagle eye.
Eagle eye. Eagle eye.
Eagle eye. Eagle eye.
Eagle's eyes, right. That's right. Okay, because see, an eagle can be 3 miles in the air and can look right down at the smallest little mouse on the ground. All right. All right, you can go ahead and do your research about that. An eagle can fly up to 3 miles up above the earth. But what you want to do is you want to hone in on your skill. That's why you have to go ahead and mark up your charts. As Gwen has spoken earlier, 25, the 27 charts, sometimes 30 charts. Eric has also said, he marks up 25 plus his mentor's 25. So when you get to that point, when you start looking at divergence, I have noticed that anywhere from 85 to 90% of the time, right before major news, there's always divergence. How about if I told you could have caught this trade if you had eagle eyes on GBP CAD when it ran up 433 pips? I guess nobody want that?
I want it.
Okay, great. All right. Somebody said they want it. All right, good deal. Now, I'm going to go ahead and make this disappear. Now, as you can see, this trend is doing what? It just went straight across, did it not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure did.
All right, it just went right across, right?
Yeah.
And how about this? This right here is just continuously going up, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
Right.
How about if I told you that if you would have used your MACD, it would have told you that it was.
You still there, Jamie?
I'm not hearing them either.
Can you hear me?
You're back now.
You're back now.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Jamie.
Yeah, you said you got cut off right when you said if you would have used the MACD.
If you would have used your MACD, is momentum. Didn't your MACD tell you it was going up? But yet, price was telling you that it was what? Uh-oh. What happened to my screen?
We see it.
You don't want me to go? Well, I don't see my screen. I'm blind over here. Okay, here we go. I guess TraderView trying to stop us.
Yeah, you taking all their money.
So this is just on the 4 hour. And I realize if we went to the 1 hour, could we not have seen it better? The MACD was telling us all along that this was going to happen. Your MACD is your best friend when it comes down to momentum, especially when it comes down to red folder news. Again, let's go here back to the 4 hour.
Are you speaking, Jamie?
Yes, I am. Can you guys hear me?
We could not, but now we hear you.
I tell you, my internet is just really acting a fool this morning. I do apologize. Divergence is your best friend when it comes down to the market. Divergence is your best friend when it comes down to the market. Because it shows you momentum. Everyone was looking for this sale right here, were we not? Were we looking for this sale here?
Mm-hmm, to touch
Yes.
the line.
Right? Were we looking for this sale here? And momentum kept telling you that it was going up, did it not?
No, I was looking for a buy on those two push downs. I was looking for a buy on that.
You were looking for a buy on that.
Yeah.
So you were looking for a buy on that, but how did we miss this right here?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I have my 4 hour mark, and then I saw where it had not gone down to the bottom of the channel yet, so I was expecting it to come down a little bit further before it actually made the push up.
Mm-hmm.
Because
okay.
Because the last two times when it came down to the bottom, that's how I was able to catch a buy then. And then on this time, it was doing similar to what it had done before. It was coming down, and so I had my trend line there. So once it broke the trend line, once it got to the bottom of my channel and it started going up and would break my trend line going up, then I would have got in the buy. But that's not what happened. It was still, I was in a sell and it was still coming down, and then it turned around, which I thought at first it was pulling back, and then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, something's going on. And then it just kind of threw me for a loop, and I realized that, oh my God, it's news. And I didn't look at the news prior to, and I normally do check it, but I didn't check it this morning, and I was like, oh my God. So, you know, I knew that there was a possibility that it would go up, but I also saw where it was coming down. So I was prepared to do a buy after it, you know, it pushed down some, but that just kind of, it pushed up sooner than I had anticipated. So that's how I kind of missed that. So
okay.
But I don't really understand divergence. I've heard it, but I do like the MACD. But I need to learn more about the divergence, especially.
Basically, yes, ma'am. Basically, all divergence is the change of momentum. If price is doing one thing, here's a perfect example here.
Okay.
Here you can see.
So are you on the 4 hour or 1 hour?
I'm on the 4 hour.
4 hour. Okay. All right. Okay.
What is price doing here, ma'am?
Going down.
Right. So if price is going down, but what is momentum doing here?
On the
on the MACD here at the bottom. Here at the bottom.
It looks like you have it on the red part going down.
Right. But what is it doing here? Here at the bottom, here at the MACD down here at the bottom, you have your MACD 4C, and then you have your regular MACD here at the bottom. And I just drew an arrow.
Oh, I'm
from
sorry.
one
I'm
point
sorry.
to another.
I'm sorry. My screen wasn't up. I'm sorry. I see. Okay. All right.
So if prices here is going down, what is your MACD doing here?
Going up.
It's going up. Do you think that's a little like something's wrong? Something doesn't look right?
Well, they're not parallel, so
they're not parallel. So they're not doing the same thing, correct?
Yes, exactly.
So how about if I told you if you would have drawn here on your MACDs, either one, and price was going down, how about if I told you you could have caught 433 pips in 3 days and 4 hours?
Yeah. Okay.
And he is a specialist at this because I remember when he first started talking about divergence, he was so excited. I was like, let me get excited and read up on it. And then I was like, okay, I can't get it right. So I had to let it go. But
And you know
Yep.
what? The thing is,
amazing.
divergence really works, but my eye doesn't catch it like Jamie's either.
Yes, me neither. Yeah. Jamie be like on it. I'll be like, what? Okay.
I can catch patterns all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's patterns. It's
And I
patterns.
can catch patterns in breakouts, but you
Yes,
know,
yes, ma'am.
but
He's got that eagle eye.
That's that eagle
I
eye.
see what you're saying,
And
I've
it's
and I've
just
heard
market
people-
instruction.
yeah, and I've heard people talk about it, and I knew there was an opposite, but I never really asked, okay, what is the opposite really saying? So, okay, that makes sense.
Well, I will tell you this. There's divergence after divergence, and I want to do one more, and then I'll go ahead and turn it back over because I don't want to hog anything. But I just wanted to help you guys out with that because this is just such a beautiful technique. I don't call it a strategy because it's not. You're really not strategizing anything. You're just watching. You're using eagle eyes. Now,
Okay.
I'm going to ask you this question here, ma'am. What is price doing right here?
Going down.
Price is going down there, and price is going here, right?
Yes.
Right. So if price is continuously going down, but it's below your histogram, why aren't you looking at your MACD to go ahead and catch on the same pair, 19 more days, 773 pips, and you're still in your channel?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You guys have to use the fundamentals that Gwen is showing, Clint shows, Mario shows, Terrell shows, Stevenson Lindor shows. Gwen, come on. She's like killing this thing, right?
Well,
And
see,
you have to practice this.
Like he's saying, you have several confirmations here. You have it in a channel.
Mm-hmm.
Price is exhausting. You have divergence. If you look on your smaller time frame, you probably saw an impulse and a correction. What's your date there, Jamie?
On where it started, ma'am, was on 12 December.
Okay, go to your 15-minute and go to 12 December.
If it'll let me go back that far. Hopefully it will.
It should on a 15-minute.
On the 15 it will? Okay.
Yeah, but remember, use your go-to tool.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, this is just so beautiful right here. It's sexy. All right, so go to 15-minute. And that was 12 December, right?
Yeah, I think where you marked it off, it said 11.
Okay.
You can just type over that. It's real quick. Just backspace.
Yeah, I'm able to talk now.
Yeah, you're getting that Middle Eastern lag.
Robot. Do it. I don't think it's going to do it. Nope. Oh, yeah, it did. Hot dang.
You just
All
have
right.
a lag over there.
Okay. All right. So here we go. So, yep, there it is. Yep, there it is right here. You are. There it is. There she is right here. Awesome. Good catch, Gwen. Right
And
there.
right after your vertical, there's an impulse to the upside on your lower time frame and a little flag.
Now, who would love to be in blue for 47 straight days?
I'm on the way.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I just wanted to go ahead and help you guys out with that real quick.
Thank you.
And I want to
appreciate
show
that.
you on his screen. You see where it hit the top of his channel? And then now we know that this is something that more than likely will come down because it hit the top of the channel. That's something that I'm doing. I'm playing channels.
I love channels. I mean,
Yeah.
I can see clearly, and I'm beginning to see clearer and clearer because I've been doing a lot of charting, and I mean they're all over the place. I've been kind of doing it on the 1 hour, but I'm gonna start like maybe focusing more on the 4 hour and just getting in on the 1 hour or the 15 minute.
If you look at USD CAD, it's been in a weekly channel for what, 2 years?
Oh wow!
On what time?
Like 700 pips each way. USD CAD has been in a weekly channel for a long time.
Yes. Oh, that. Okay. Yes. I have all of that. All like every little pattern within that. I have it all marked out. UCAD was my friend, was my little baby for a little while, and I had to spread my wings and go to other things. But yes.
It doesn't look like much, but it's a lot.
Oh, snap. All righty. Okay, dokie.
Thank
go ahead
you,
and
Amy.
Thanks again.
no problem. My pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now you see, people, when you're just new and you're starting off, this is the path that you're looking to go on. To be able to look at these things and see. Everybody's gonna see something different. There are all these different ways. Find out what's best for you. He has the eagle eye. This is best for him, and he's finding them. I like to do patterns. Now that I found patterns, this is like, oh, patterns everywhere. I like to, when it gets to zones, sell or buy at zone areas, looking for those things. I'm loving to do channels, up and down, up and down. I'm looking at, if I can find a channel, I'm playing it. If it's a down channel, I'm playing all the buys because we're looking at it for it to reverse. If it's an ascending channel, I'm looking for all sales because we're looking for it to reverse. There may be a break and it'll break out sometime soon. So I'm doing all of the sales on the ascending channel. Anybody want to mark up any chart? Is there a specific chart anybody wants to mark up? Come on, y'all. Did somebody lose money this week? Let's look at a chart where there was a lose money situation. Because
I got one if you want me to show one.
Go ahead, and then also let us know.
Jamie was fighting with the devil.
Yeah, sure was, and won. I needed some help. I had to call in some reinforcements.
That was funny, though. That was funny.
Well, show us, and then show us the lesson that you learned, because you will lose, and there is a lesson, and you are gonna keep making the same mistakes unless you get that lesson. So, can you show us?
Yes, I will. Here I come.
He held on to a bad trade like people hold on to bad relationships.
I did that this week. I did that.
Yeah, I think we all do sometimes. Well, there's some people who don't, but
that trading in the zone is my best friend because it reminds me all the time.
Okay, guys. Now I need you to have the whole armor of God because I'm about to show you the devil. I'm gonna tell you right now, the devil don't. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Jamie, let's talk about that stop loss.
That he probably didn't have.
Oh, you mean that 1,000 pips stop loss?
I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, it's okay. So we laugh. All right, so
You're breaking up.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. All right, so basically, I got in this trade like about right here-ish. So it had 1, 2, 3. It had nice pushes. So I was like, okay, here was the correction on the 4 hour. So let's go down to the 1 hour. Let me mark it first. Right here. Let me go down to the 1 hour. And I'm gonna show you the biggest mistake in the world that I did. I got in right at this correction. Now, mind you, I was at work. Of course, you know, we're looking for that, right? I mean, you got your impulse, correction, extension, impulse. You know, I'm looking. You know, I'm looking for 1, 2. I'm looking for the third drop.
Wow.
Oh, because the market moves in odd numbers. Not this time. AUD rose his ugly head. So I got into this sale. I was happy-go-lucky. And I remember right here, specifically right here, I had to go to a meeting. I was like, oh, this is going to work. I went to my meeting, and right after that candle formed, this doggone doji showed up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you know anything about candlesticks, dojis is a sign of indecision. Well, this indecision was a decision, in my opinion, because this son of a gun said, I'm about to go up yonder. It didn't go just up yonder. It didn't go up yonder. Ladies and gentlemen, it went up 129 pips yonder. And since I was at work, and I really wasn't
sweet time, 5 days to do it.
Let me tell you something. I did not have a stop loss, and I refused to close this trade. I was stubborn. And I'll tell you, I called Eric. I even got a hold of Terrell. I mean, I was about to get a hold of Stevenson Lindor because I was like, I got to get out this trade because of the fact is I didn't put in a stop loss. I didn't follow the rules. Now, this was the crazy thing about it. I was like, you know what? Everybody was telling me, oh, Jamie, I think you need to go ahead and cut your losses. She's still going up. And that was about right here on the 22nd, wasn't it, Gwen? The 22nd or the 23rd, we had talked about this, and it still went up more. And I thought I had hope when I saw this pullback.
I told you it would come down, but it was going to take at least a week.
Yeah, well, guess what? I'm talking about I have never held a trade for 2 weeks, but I sure held this one. So I figured I'd just go ahead and start from scratch. I cleared my whole board, and I drew it up again. I went back to the fundamentals. Now, this was a learning experience, but I refused to close the trade because I trusted the training that we've been receiving. When I saw this hit the high point, and it literally did not surpass this wick, I was like, I've got hope. This thing did a 100% retracement. So you're talking about a trade that was negative 2,337 pips, went back, and I just hedged it because I was scared. But when it hit this trend line, I was like, it bounced off. That's when I started hedging it. When it started doing the descending channel, I got out of it. I took an L for $299, I think it was, Gigi. And
You still came out way ahead for the week, though.
But I came out ahead because I hedged it down. When I saw this right here, I'm telling you, you would have thought that I had won $1 million in the lottery. And I'm telling you, I was just so glad to get out of it. But I will tell you this. I was able to study AU. And if you guys really want a little treat, it just threw a descending channel here on the 1 hour. If you want a little treat, here you go. Look for this trade to do not just 100% retracement, but be prepared that this thing is going to come back and touch the 236. It's through its descending channel, and this is just a nice little tidbit for you guys. And make sure you put in a stop loss. Go ahead and snag you anywhere from 91 to 120 pips.
Hey, Jamie, do you
Yes,
want to explain to them what happens when you do that on a live account?
when you do this on a live account, I can't say what I want to say, but I will tell you this. You will shake, you will tremble, and you will be on your knees doing the pip prayer. Please turn around. Please turn around. Guys, don't guys, please put in a stop loss.
Yes.
Put in a stop loss. Don't do what I did, because this was a truly a learning experience. And never to trade at work. That's right. Don't trade at work.
If your free margin goes into the negative, they will not hesitate
Oh, the close.
to close one of your negatives, and it will
Yes.
be the biggest negative you got.
Yes.
And your account will go to zero quickly.
Hey, Jamie, will you do something for me since we're speaking on fibs, which we know that I love very much?
Yes.
Go to GBP CAD. Go to GCAD on the weekly and throw me a fib.
Oh, GCAD? Ooh,
GCAD on the weekly.
GCAD.
I don't know they in that. I think I was saying G. Was I saying GCAD or GR? No, GCAD. I said GCAD.
Now, Gigi, you know you trained me well.
Oh, that.
Where you want it, Gigi? Wait, you want it from the top?
No,
you want it from the bottom?
take that last impulse down right there at your green line
Yes, ma'am.
to the bottom.
Because I'm all the way up.
Well, looky where we are.
Right at the 50.
Nope, the 61.8. You need to zoom in. You need to. All right,
Oh,
Eagle Eye. Come on, Eagle Eye.
Hey, it's squinched down too much.
We are at the 61.8. So what do we expect?
We expect a reversal.
Yep, so we start looking for that to pull down.
I've been waiting on
And
that.
how many pips is that to the bottom if we get it from top to bottom?
You want me to show you on the 4-hour?
I can show it right there where we are. Right there. And it's still inside our little channel. Come down. If it breaks this time.
500 pip move. But if it was a full retracement, you're talking about 920 pips.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm watching it for. I'm like I said, I'm trading channels, and that's what I'm watching it for. That right there. That's why people are surprised to keep on going higher and higher. I'm not.
And I think now that EuroCAD has broken the channel, I think it was 700 pips to the top if it keeps going up after the correction.
Well, since it's throwing a nice ascending channel, how about if I told you we got 200 pips coming back to us?
Nice. Nice. To that line. And then it's going to go up and hit that top and then come back down.
And now look at EuroCAD on the daily.
EuroCAD?
Or the 4-hour look, yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
You said the hourly?
You
want to go to the hourly?
No, let's look at the daily first.
We'll look at the daily? Okay. Oh my gosh, look at that. Isn't she pretty? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's getting ready to drop it like it's hot.
Yeah, she's going to come back to that 236.
From the bottom of that channel to the top, how many pips is that?
From the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh, this whole move. Oh, the whole move. Oh, the whole move.
Come all the way.
Oh, that was about almost 300 pips.
No, to the top.
Oh.
Because we're in a reversal pattern.
Yes. Oh, that thing.
Work with me now. Work with me now. Pull it up. Pull it up.
Keep on going. It's a 618 at least.
440. You look left at your 618.
Yes.
Go down a little bit.
So then we could expect it to drop there, but then after, if it continues up, how much is it all the way to the top?
780 fronts, 750 pips.
And that's what we're hoping to get.
Yeah. Wait for this pull back to happen, because it is an ascending right now. Wait for that pullback to happen.
If it falls back into that channel, we could see it dropping down to the bottom at the left, which would be even sweeter.
Think it could do that? I think it's gonna come back to the 236. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely going to correct. But if it falls back within the channel, I'll be looking to buy it from the very bottom of that green line.
Oh, here?
Look left. Move that stuff out of the way and look left.
Yeah, it got me on that one this past week. It came out, tested, started to bounce, then reversed back on me, came back into the channel.
Ooh,
Yeah, it played around all week. Jamie, all I can see is like where it says 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day. You having a lag over there? There we go. Now look left. There you go.
Right there. Yep.
I was expecting it to fall back down to there before it shot up, but the CAD news today, I think that's why it was struggling, because it tried to break out 2 or 3 times before that news. So we could see it come back down and retest that bottom.
Mm.
That is about right.
Especially if oil goes up and CAD goes up, we would see it come back down to the bottom. All right, that's all I have. I'm going to mute myself again. I'm back and forth between grandchildren and here.
Okay. So you guys, he just got to talking about something that I think is really key, which is going to lead us to our next one. Thank you, Jamie, so much for sharing that, because most people want to share their wins. And being a trader, you're not going to 100% win. You just,
No, you're gonna lose.
yeah. But when you do, you learn from it. It's a lesson. You back test it. You look and see what you did. You try, as a smart trader, he had a technique that got him out of that, which he hedged. He was patient, he hedged, so he shortened his loss. He went to the market, saw the pattern, we're looking at different things, and he was able to get out of a smaller place instead of just cutting his losses fully. So these are things you are going to learn. Hopefully you'll learn them before you make the mistake, but if you do, there is still a lesson. Still a lesson. Okay, so now let me share my screen. Oh, Jamie, and I'm so glad you showed that. I helped somebody be able to cut their loss. I've showed plenty of people how to be able to cut their losses at a minimum place. And in me, I've cut my losses in maximum places. I've still made that mistake. Be it trading in fear. You cannot trade in fear. Fear will give your money away. Like he said, what happened to him is stop loss, which is where we get to risk management. I remember I lost 2,400 in less than 5 minutes. No stop loss, blew my account, and I was just numb because it was gone before I could even react. And that means that I had no risk management going on. And really, I don't care when you follow people. It doesn't matter if you followed them and they told you something. As traders, we are responsible as traders. We are responsible as traders for everything we do in the market. If we follow somebody's trade, it was our responsibility to look at that chart and say if it was the right thing to do. If we say, I don't know how to trade, so they told me, it's still your responsibility. You accepted that. You accepted to get into the market, so you got to take responsibility. And that's one thing you have to, once you accept the responsibility as a trader, it gets better, gets easier. So risk management, why we blow accounts, why we go accounts. Just like how you see in your screen, risk management is simply having a risk to reward plan. New folks, IML, you have a days in your ear, 24/7, talking about risk to reward. Those are the basics. It's the basics that even no matter what trader, how long you're doing trading, risk to reward is going to be the only way for you to grow your account. You have to know your risk to reward. You got to know your account balance and the percentage of the trade you're willing to risk. They teach 1 through 5. It's taught 1 through 5%. Some people, they don't even know. They're doing 15, 20%, and they don't even realize it. They don't realize that they're giving up all their money. They don't realize that they're gambling. You got to know your stop loss and your lot size. You have to know that your stop loss and your lot size is almost everything. Your stop loss and your lot size should be a calculation that you're doing together.
Hey, Mahogany.
Yes.
On that topic, this week I was I went into a trade and didn't realize which trade I clicked on the trade and I knew which one I wanted to go to, but I have dyslexia.
It's okay. It's okay.
So I went into the
We all
wrong.
can laugh at that because we've all done it.
I went into the wrong trade. But the funny thing was, every one of my trades were in blue.
Oh.
Every one of them were in blue, but my margin was in negative. I was like, wait a minute now, how's it negative? It can't be a negative. And so I found the biggest one. I just closed it. I made money on it, but I closed it because either way, as I closed it, they closed it for me.
I've never seen a negative margin.
I had a negative margin and I had all blue because what I had did was I had over risked my account, even though I was an old.
Oh, I wonder. That's crazy. Maybe they were counting. They were counting what your unrealized profit was.
It had to be because I knew I was in negative because I was in negative $150 and I was like, there's no way. I'm in all blue.
Let me close it before they catch it. And you guys, as you guys start to learn, and I know that people who have been trading for a while, this may be something that they don't pay attention to. I know that I stopped paying attention to it until I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired of losing. Is that when he talks about margin, those numbers on your MT4 or your OANDA or your JFX need to be aware of those numbers. Because like he said, they can close you out. Thank goodness they didn't close him out. Be aware of your spread. When the market closed on EuroCAD, the spread was 30 pips. They were trying to keep people from closing out their trade because if you weren't 30 pips or more in profit, you was gonna come out in a loss. If you look at right now, if you go and look at your phone or wherever you have your market at, if you look at your spreads, you're gonna see spreads are at 20, 30, 45, and not 3.5 or not just 35 because 35 is 3.5 pips, but I mean 300, which is 30 pips. Their spreads are high when the market closes and when it opens at certain points of the market. Knowing your risk to reward is about your entry, and your risk to reward is about the number of trades you have open that are active. When you know what your risk to reward is, it's going to keep you from losing all of your money in 1 or 2 trades. Now, this that I'm talking about is just not for new people. It is a reminder for me. Gigi has this. Jamie has this. People are always looking at. Lindor is looking at his risk to reward. Terrell, Clint, Mario, they're looking at risk to rewards percentages. These are all important things to them. What makes a trader? Anybody can trade. Anybody can master trade, but they have to have these 3 things: mindset, skill set, and profits. Skill set is not just marking up charts. Skill set is risk to reward. This is something that for the rest of your freaking life, just like if you have a job and you keep up with how many hours you work so that you can get paid right, you got to keep up with the balance of your account, the lot size, your stop losses. You got to keep up with these things. If you understand the 7 principles of consistency, which is in the trading the zone, 2 out of the 7 principles deal with risk, knowing your risk. predefine the risk of every trade. Predefine means plan. I completely accept the risk, or I'm willing to let go of the trade. That's what Jamie went through. He wasn't willing to let go of the trade, so he had to think of something, and he thought of hedging. He just wrote it out. He was not willing to let go, but because he wasn't willing to let go, he had to come up with a strategy so that when he did let go, this is what I'm willing to lose. I'm not willing to lose all of this, but this is what I'm willing to lose. Is it going to do, and is the market setting up for something different? It's setting up for something different. So let me go ahead and hedge. That's risk management. We got to know that trading is active investing. That's why you have to know the percentage of your accounts you're willing to risk. It's just like when I said this before, you have a lottery ticket. Your risk to reward on the lottery ticket is $1 or $5 to 300 million. Your risk is $1, your risk is $5, your reward is 3 million. We do risk to reward all the time on everything. You got to do it in trading. You do risk to reward when you go shopping. When I go shopping, this is how much this costs. This is the risk I'm willing to pay for this. Do I really want this? This costs $15. This one costs $35. What am I willing to risk? What is the reward? Well, I really like this brand, so I'm willing to risk $35 for the reward that I like. We do risk to reward in everything. You have to do it in trading. Everybody knows their lot sizes. Going by lot size. For people who are in certain, or have been in trading a little bit more, this may be a reminder. Say your account is $1,000 and you say, I'm only willing to risk 2%. That means you're only willing to risk 20 bucks. But when it comes to your lot size, that 20 bucks can be split up any kind of way. If you're going to do a 0.01, that's 200 pips. So I'm willing to risk $20, which is 200 pips at a 0.01. So I can do it a lot of things with my 0.01. I can go into a long-term trade with my 0.01 and have a 200 pip stop loss. If I'm playing a 0.05, that's 40 pips. If I'm playing a 0.10 on that same account for the 2%, I only can have a stop loss at 20 pips. If I'm doing a lot size of a standard, if I'm only willing to risk 2% of my account, that's only 2 pip stop loss. You have to know the percentage you're willing to risk to know what your lot size is going to be. Let's go one more example, 1,000. Okay, 4%, I'm willing to risk 4%. That's $40 I'm willing to risk. If I want to do a 0.10, that means that I can only have a lot size of 40 pips. And if I'm going for 200 pips, if I'm going for 100 pips, that's a great lot size to have. You have to know your account size. You have to know what you're willing to risk, the percentage, so that you can know how much money and what that equals to with your lot size. Again, if you're using a standard $1,000 account and you only want to risk 4% and you have a standard, that's only 4 pips. Maria, when you mentioned placing stop losses earlier and it goes in accordance with the spread, is that also true for trailing stop loss? Well, your spread will come into effect before you get into the market. Say your spread is 2 pips. When you get into the market, your line is going to, if you're going to a buy, your line is going to be higher than you actually enter. And you'll sit there and watch it. Your account will automatically be negative. Once you pass your 2 pips, as it starts to go up in the buy, you'll see that negative turn to a positive. They're taking that spread there. For trailing stop losses, and when you're trailing, you're already in profit. Or you're usually, if you're trailing, you're setting it when you're in profit. I would not move my trailing stop if I'm not in profit yet or have it set for before I get into profit. So at that point, your spread is not coming into account. So see, yeah, there you go. Exactly what Guinevere said.
And don't forget, guys, take into account your swap fees. For
Mm-hmm.
some of those trades, like USD CHF, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Some of them you'll actually get credit, depending on your broker. But always look at your swap fees.
I like those. Risk management, it really is easy. It really is easy. If you don't have to do the hand calculation. New people, this is what you're hearing day in and day out from a Daisy. Whoever you follow that is on your IML TV for new traders. Mine was a Daisy. She was a person in my head. This stuff that she was teaching us, when you start trading, you sometimes leave it behind, but you should not. This is gonna how you either blow or grow your account. If you want to grow your account, you gotta do this. It's a risk, it's a position size calculator. And here, right here, is going to be the actual little tool that I will click on, and I will put it into the actual chat room so that you guys can see it. Please use this. If you are not using it, if you are not using that, if you're not using this actual pocket size little thingy, I would say that you should start using it. I have gone back to using it, and it saved me a lot of stuff. It saved me. There's spreadsheets that you can actually use to do it. Guinevere has this awesome spreadsheet that she's put into the web Telegram, and it's amazing. Please use that. It helps you calculate your risk to reward. Use something. I use MyFX. I love that. MyFXbook.com. You can go in there, connect your broker, connect your MT4. It'll calculate everything for you. I have my goals for my daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly set up on there. It will tell me that I have passed my loss for the day, that I have passed my loss for the week. It will tell me if I have made my goal for the day, made my goals for the week, because I put in there what my percentages is. Another thing about risk to reward, if you know your supply and demand zones, you know how to enter. Your entry is part of your risk to reward. If you're going into a sale and you're entering at a place where it's not finished buying, that's going to affect your risk to reward, because it might go up into the opposite direction, trying to reach its supply zone or its support line. Know your patterns. That'll help you with your entries. Use your Fibonacci's. That'll help you with your buys, your sales, your take profits. These are all tools that actually help you with your risk to reward. You just saw us use Fibonacci because that's what Gwen. I use Fibonacci because Gwen used to talk about it. She used to be in love. I remember before, Gwen did everything with Fibonacci. And it is a great tool. She just showed us 61, where the market went back to. Us old heads, we go in and out of using it. Be consistent with using something to help you. This is part of your risk management. A bad entry will cause your stop loss to be activated. But with proper risk management, the account size shrinkage will be minimized. I told you about, I got into a trade and I didn't have stop loss. Lost the whole entire account. Bad entry could have been saved if I use a stop loss. When you have a risk management strategy, then you're able to grow your account. When you have a risk management plan, a risk to reward plan, you can then grow your account. You have to know how to actually sustain that growth. That's why you have a risk to reward plan. You got to track your growth, manage your growth, and maintain your growth. If your risk to reward is 4%, if I was doing a 1-to-1, that means my risk is 4%, my growth is 4%. My lot size for my $1,000 account will be 0.10. Remember, the 4% on 0.0 was, I'm sorry, on the 4% on $1,000 was going to be $40. So in this case, I'm agreeing to lose 40 pips. I'm agreeing to make $40 and go 40 pips. So 1 to 1, 40 pip risk, 40 pip target. Some people love doing that. I don't too much love doing that because I like a higher risk to reward. But 1 to 1, some people do it. As long as you have something in there, as long as you have a risk to reward, whatever that is. 1 to 2, I like to do 1 and 2 and more. 1 to 2. My risk will always be 4%, which is $40. It's only going to be $40. You got to remember, it's only going to be $40 if your lot size stays consistent. If you notice, my lot size in all of this is all 0.10. So even if I do a 1 to 2, I'm willing to lose $40, but at 8% growth, I'm looking to make 80 pips. My reward is going to be 80 pips. Even if anything went wrong, I want to get my 80 pips, but I'm willing to lose that 40. This whole entire risk to reward list, everything, no matter how many pips I'm trying to get, I'm only risking 40 pips to get this money. If I were to go to 1 to 5, my risk is still 4%. I have $1,000. I'm only willing to risk 4%, which is $40. But I want to grow it by $20, by 20%. I'm sorry. Lot size does not change. 0.10. That means I want to get 200 pips, which means my reward would be $200. If I don't get it, my loss is still maintained at 40. This is how you grow your account. If I hit $40 stop loss, I didn't lose my whole account. You have to have a percentage that you're willing to win and willing to lose. And then when you hit that win, when you first start off, I had to hit it and quit it. I could have went for more. I was greedy and went for more and then lost more than I won. But I had to have the discipline. You have to be willing when you hit the end of your risk, you got to let it go. I'm sure plenty of people can attest to they lost a lot more than they wanted to, and they wondering why did I lose $100? Why did I lose $400? Why did I lose $15? If you manage your risk to reward, when you get into a trade, you already know what you're going to lose if you have lost. That actually, I say let it go. If you agree to lose 44%, then just be ready to say bye to your $40. And that's an acceptance. An acceptance. Just look at this risk scenario. $1,000 account balance. This applying risk to reward will protect your investment. Remember, we are investors. We're not gambling. We're not playing to say we know how to trade. We actually are trying to do what our goal is to make an investment, a return on our investment. This $1,000, I have already calculated. I'm giving away $40. My stop loss is $40. My loss is 4%. I'm looking to manage my rewards of 200 pips, which is $200. If I'm doing my risk to reward scenario, I will live to trade another day. If I win, my account balance is $1,200. If I lose, I'm only out $40 and my balance is $960. There are some people, I can attest, where my account was $1,200 and I didn't know what my risk was. I was just putting out there anything, and now my account is at $820, and I'm like, oh, how did I lose that much money? I didn't have my risk to reward. You should always know what you're going to lose. And remember, if you're stacking, this changes the game. Stacking means if you're doing more than one trade at a time. If you're doing 2 trades and you only want to risk 4% of your $1,000 account, that means you can only put in 2% risk per trade. That means that your lot size is not any longer 0.10. It is now 0.05, one trade. Second trade, 0.05. You can't go in 0.10 and then put another trade at 1.0. You can, but your risk is now 8% of your $1,000 account, which means you may get a loss of $80. This is how you are able to grow your account, knowing what you may lose, not expecting a loss, but when it happens, you're not surprised. We're only surprised because we're not using risk management. If you put in 3 trades and you say, my risk will only be 4% because all the greats, they only care about percentages. I'm only willing to risk 4%. That means you now have to per trade risk 1.3% per trade. That means, remember the lot size was 0.10 for the 4%, which is $40, which is 40 pips. You still only want to lose 40 pips. You still only want to lose, $40. One trade is 0.04. Second trade is 0.03. Third trade is 0.03. That all equals 0.10. But if I were to put a 0.103 times, I now have a lot size of 0.30, and I have taken my risk from 4% to 12%. And I'm wondering why I'm losing $120 versus only losing $40. This is why I'm not surprised if there was a loss. Multiple positions are wonderful. Eric got in 6 times. He capitalized every time it went down. I stack. First take profit 50 pips. Second take profit 100 pips. Third take profit. Now I have actually doing 150 pips. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm stacking. And I'm splitting up my lot size between the 3. Last things, remember your spread. I said this before. When it first opens, the market first opens, it's crazy spread. Also, when you're trading a certain pair that not many people get into, the spreads are kind of a little bit crazier because of that. Those spreads can be expensive. So if you're going to get into a pair like GN, it's a bit expensive, but for me, it moves pretty quickly, so it compensates for the expensiveness, but I know I'm going to get in when it's really moving. You want to look for affordable spreads. Euro USD, affordable spread. Just know your spreads, because if your spread is 20 and then you're like wondering why you got kicked out, it's because your spread is 20 and your stop loss was 20 and you just got kicked out immediately. If you do those exotics, know your spreads. No, you will immediately be in 42 pip loss when you first get into the trade. Have to know this information, guys. Summary: view trading as what it really is. It's a process of possibilities and probabilities. Risk to reward. You got to focus on your skill development. The skill is risk to reward. Markup charts, know your risk. Markup charts, know your risk. These are both 2 skill sets. Not even talking about mindset. To me, mindset is a completely different thing. It's like the number 1 in this whole thing. And then for everybody, like I said, I had to find my style. Everybody has to find what fits them. I had to go through a lot, but I found what fit me. Just because you sit there and you see all of what we do, if it doesn't fit you, doesn't fit you. Eric, it doesn't fit him for him to sit there and watch his trades. So he has to find out how can he trade certain things that goes according to his thing. Jamie, he has to go to work, so he has to find out what he can do for when he goes to work. He already knows stop loss. He knows about he gets into high probability trades, and even if you know your style, you will come across and make and have little mistakes. That's a part of gambling. It's a part of gambling when you don't have risk to reward. Yes, it's a part of gambling. But when you have your risk to reward, when you have your plan, it's trading, not gambling anymore. And I believe that is it for this risk to reward thing. Anybody have any questions? That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. Anybody have any more questions? Come on, y'all. This is supposed to be interactive. You're welcome. I'm glad, William. I'm so very glad.
That's very good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. You want to make money, guys. You don't want to keep on giving it to the market. You are in to make money. Brokers are in to take your money. And they do take your money until you learn.
They're good at it.
That's their job. Our job is to, number one, box in price. Number two. Anybody know number two?
React to it.
Say that again.
The boxing price and react to it.
Yes. Yes, react to it. I say respond because a reaction in the medical field is a bad thing. So I say respond. And I add a third thing just for me. My third thing is know how much you're willing to lose. Box in price, respond to it, know how much you're willing to lose. That's a trading plan right there. That's you just get your 1, 2, 3. That's a short and sweet trading plan. Any questions? Okay, who wants to mark up a chart? What is somebody looking for?
What do you have on your agenda for next week? Which trades are you looking at?
For next week. Of course, let me go look at my list. Of course, I supposed to have done my stuff today, but I did not. But
can we take a look at G?
Say that again.
G.
For the new people, this is a time to learn. So marking up your chart in front of someone will help you know what you're doing wrong, and so people can help you. They're not there to judge you. We're here to help you.
I think he's asking you to take a look at GBP USD.
Oh, I get that. And people, if you want to mark up charts, we can stop sharing. If you don't want it to be recorded, that is okay. You said GBP what now? I didn't catch the last place. GBP.
USD.
He's asking for GBP dollar, pound dollar.
Thank you. Okay. Look at the spread. The spread is not 1.5, which would be 1.5. The spread is 15. So.
Yeah, that's why we don't use Oanda. American brokers, crazy.
But they are, to me, it keeps with that 50 max. Depending on what trade I'm in, it really helps me. The JFX or the LQDFX, that's the one I really use. That one right there, I like that because of what I can do on it. But the Oanda has allowed for me to be able to grow. But it sucks. But it has made me, that discipline is coming. That discipline is setting. So USD GBP. This is the chart that I have for it. This is the chart that I marked up. I have marked up my channel right here. And let me remove this. I can always put it back. So it has continued to push higher on the daily time frame. People are like, why does it keep on going up? Why is it not? The reason why I like these boxes is because it lets me know that just because it hits here, like it did here, doesn't mean that it doesn't have room to keep going up. So look at that, room to keep going up, room to keep going up. And it even pushed past it. On this time frame, it actually went 55 pips above it and it came down. But look on the 4 hour, this is how I knew how to get in. And this right here, I can see this, that was something I did here. And then actually when it did this right here, and then it started doing all of this, I was like, okay, I'm not going to get in because all of this corrective move, even though it broke it and it went here, once I got into it and started doing this, I said, okay, I'll just get out and I'm going to wait for it to move. And then it started to move. But look at it's just up and down, corrective. We don't get anything that really starts to move into here and here. And then look at this. And then it's going to lower time frame, little impulse and come back up. This is how I knew this was coming. This fall was coming. This is just how I'm looking at it as I'm looking at whether to get in. Remember I said impulse up, ascending channel. I knew something was coming up for it to fall. And then it did. Look at that. Right? But still within its channel, it did that. It broke out, but still within its channel. Impulse. Correction. So I knew this was coming. Then look at this right here, and I was like, okay, da da da. So what I did was when it did impulse, I'm like, okay, what's gonna happen? Because I remember I had gotten out, wasn't for sure what was gonna happen. I saw this. What is this, guys? Let me go to the higher time frame. For me, this would have been more manageable and seeable on this time frame right here for me. And I know it's a smaller time frame, and you haven't probably some people probably haven't gotten there yet. But when I see this, why won't it let me let go? Okay. This is what I saw. I don't know if anybody else saw this. This is what I saw. Impulse, ascending channel. That's when I knew, okay, something's about to go down. It's about to go down. And it started to. But it wasn't impulsive. But even though I got in because I saw ascending channel, if I had to get out very shortly, I would have still did it. But then I saw this, and I was like, oh, yeah.
Please, I have a new question, ma.
Sure.
What I want to say is, me personally, I didn't like marking up this mask, like looking for my ascending channels. I like looking for them on 1 hour because I know the 5 minutes there's too much noise on 5 minutes. So I kind of look for my ascending channels on my 1 hour. So when I get to them on the 1 hour, I know it's actually going to reverse. 15 minutes, I might tend to, if I mark it on 15 minutes or 5 minutes, I might tend to miss it because looking at the overall picture of the high time frame, it might be different from what I'm seeing on 15 minutes. I don't want you to throw more light on it, on maybe marking up this kind of pattern on the 5 or 15 minutes. Maybe it's okay. Did you get that?
I don't, Nathaniel.
Okay, I said, like now you marking up, checking up for your ascending channels. Like now, this one you just marked up now.
Yes.
I said, me preferably, I would like to do that on the 1 hour because I know the 1 hour time frame covers the 5, the 15, and 30 minutes. So everything that's happening on the 5, 10, 15, 25, 15, 30 minutes are all showing up on the 1 hour time frame. So I like marking those things up on the 1 hour. So anything that's happened on the 15 minutes, I'll be seeing it on the 1 hour. So what I want to ask is it okay marking it up like that on the 15 minutes so that I don't get to miss a trade?
Okay.
Can I say something?
Yes.
You really need to look at the 5 minute and the 15 minute, because something that could look one way on one time frame will look completely different on another.
Yes.
You have patterns inside of patterns. So don't just look at the 1 hour. Make sure that you look at all the time frames, because just like on a big time frame, you might see one big candle, but on a lower time frame, you might see 4, 5, 6 candles inside of that one candle. That's why sometimes what looks like a wick on one time frame is an actual candle on another time frame. So never go off just the same question. I mean, the same time frame.
Okay. Thank you.
And this is an example of that, because on a 1 hour, I see this impulse and I see this pullback. But if I went to the 15 minute for the same, I can see a little bit more better. I can place these a little bit more better. For me, I would have actually cut through that, and I would have actually kept that out, and I would have did something like this. But I couldn't see that on the 1 hour. I couldn't see that on the 1 hour. And then some people, like, this is what I saw. Some people could have saw it like that, expanding channel, and then bought from the bottom. And then knowing that this is an expanding channel, they buy from the bottom and they take it up. What I saw was this. And me and my girlfriend, we go back and forth on this all the time. I can say it's like this, and she'd be like, no, Mahogany, it's this. I'm like, well, we see the same thing, because it's whichever way it's going to go up. But this is what I saw on the 15 minute. If I went to the 1 hour and tried to mark that up, my accuracy would have been this. See all these little wicks right here? I wouldn't have been able to see enough detail to be very confident in that this is going to be another impulse. But I definitely do get what you're saying. You're looking at higher time frame. So the 15 and 5, so we can do our entries. I also go to the 1 hour. I go to the 1 hour over time, because sometimes it can be a longer flag, like here. Let's see. This is the 1 hour. So we have impulse, correction, impulse, correction. On the 1 hour, I see this pretty little flag. What you gonna say, Gigi?
I was going to say, take a look at GBP USD just on the daily. And let's look at the very last candle.
You gonna do it like that, Gigi?
How many pips are in that one candle?
This one right here.
Mm-hmm.
113 pips.
How many entry points do you see on that one candle?
I wouldn't know where to.
So if you're looking at and now let's break it down to the 1 hour. And we're going to focus on, do you know how to turn on your session breaks?
I don't.
Right click and go to settings.
They don't appear anymore. If I go
go to time zone sessions, click that.
Oh my goodness. It was grayed out at one time.
Click OK.
It was grayed out. I even picked my colors, green colors. Okay.
Now starting at that session there, how many entries do you see on the 1 hour? None really.
Well, I mean, yeah, because over this one, I see there's movement, but I wouldn't know where can I get in and all this movement.
Now take me to your 15 minute.
We got.
All right, zoom out. Yeah. See, look at all those entry points you had. You at the very top, you had already had your impulse and correction. You're getting your continuation and correction. So That's why we go to lower time frames. This pair was choppy today because of news. But if you go back to other time frames, you and back test it, you'll see you have to go to a lower time frame. Like take me back to the 4 hour. Let me see something. Go to the 4 hour and let's scroll left. I'm gonna look for, all right, right there from the push up from the bottom. We're pushed up from the bottom.
Yes,
right.
here or here.
Yeah, let's start at that one. What's that date?
This is going to be the 2nd, January 2nd.
All right. And how many pips is it from the bottom to the top?
This is going to be 759.
And you see about 5 or 6 places you could enter there, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Remember that? What was that date?
September. I mean, the 2nd of January.
All right. Take us to the 15-minute 2nd of January. And we're going to see if we can get more than 5 chances to enter this trade. All right. So we're starting from the bottom. So there was our impulse and correction. Look at all those different entry points. Zoom out. I think it's the minus button. One of them, just, yeah, so we can see there's the impulses and corrections and our pushes up. We have multiple entry points going up. Instead of just like 5 or 6, we probably had about 20 or 30 opportunities to get into the market. That's why we look at the lower time frame. So if you're just looking at the 1 hour, it's really good for just scalping. If you want to catch the swing trades, look at the higher time frames and look at the lower time frames for your entry. Hold your cursor over like where you can see all the time frames. Like if you're getting ready to switch the drop down.
Oh, this one here?
All right. When you see the lower portion, daily, weekly, monthly, that is the overall structure of the market. The middle portion, 1 hour to 4 hours. Okay, the lower portion, it's telling us exactly what the market is getting ready to do. The 1 hour to 4 hours telling us when it's going to do it. And the lower part is telling us when to get in. So that's why it's sectioned up like that.
I took that when Gwen said that, or when she give nuggets, write it down. I don't care where you at, write it down. She said the same thing a while back, and I was like, okay, let me write this right here down. Now I feel like I gotta sit there and do it up because I have that.
Yeah, I remember.
And then 1 hour, was that it? 1 hour to the 4 hour. Oh, see, no.
Yeah, hit Control Z. You had hit something. Hit undo.
There you go. So I had it right. Okay. So I tells me what the market will be doing. Tells me what the market's starting to. Tells me when to get in. And I put 15 and below because that's just what I use.
Yeah, I use 15 and below for entry.
Yeah.
Did you know that there are people that are catching 300, 400, 500 pips entering on the 1 minute with like a 10 to 15 pip stop loss? So when you start back testing, guys, you might want to look at that.
Mahogany, can you bring that back up, please?
Are y'all talking about that boy's rooster? I heard it too, and I had to know. Okay, he's.
Yeah, it made me want some good old fashioned chicken and dumplings. I ain't even gonna lie.
Oh my goodness.
I was raised on the farm.
I'm thinking about the rooster out in the yard plucking. And you thinking about a dinner plate?
I'm thinking about my grandma going out there wringing its neck cooking.
There's the wash pot that jumps around.
That's where they start at.
Yes, they do. Oh goodness, but yes, this right here, nuggets. When she said that, I was like, okay, I knew that, but I didn't know that, and she pointed out to me, and like, okay, there's so much. No matter how far you get, there's always gonna be more clarity, more clarity, and more clarity.
It's just like that channel on the USD CAD on the weekly. Even though it's just one big drop of 700 pips, how many buys and sells are not inside that channel?
Mm-hmm.
But that pair is all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's looking at it on the 1 hour. All you see is a descending channel. going down. Well, a channel that's going in downward motion, not a descending channel. But you can buy and sell at the top and low of that. But look at it on the 2 week. I mean, on the 1 week. Jesus, you can tell it's time to go to bed for me. Look at it on the weekly. If you sold at the top and bought at the bottom, how many opportunities did you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've had 7 opportunities to catch a pip of like move of like 700 pips. And when you break it down to like the 15-minute, you get multiple opportunities to get in those trades.
That's what all my little lines are when I go inside. I'm looking.
Look at that ascending channel is getting ready to drop. It's doing the same thing, EuroCAD. That's because it was moved by CAD News today, both of them. You can probably see the same thing on GCAD, ECAD, UCAD, NCAD.
Oh my goodness. All them cat pairs just moved on Friday. Like, oh my, the news, 4:30 in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, just started to do everything I've been waiting for since Tuesday or Wednesday. I was actually since Wednesday. And when this goes down, we have structure points. How do I know that it may come here? I look left.
Go to the 15-minute before that pushed up, and you probably saw a flag to the upside. All right, where did the news happen for you on your time zone?
The news happened, no, right here, down here.
It happened at what, 5:30 a.m. for you?
So the first one was at, I don't know, that's EuroCAD. So 5, right here, there's big old right here, and then look at
So
the.
you had an impulse up before the news even hit.
No, yep, I had at 4:45 it started it. And at 5 o'clock, this is what happened here, and then 5:15, and then 5:30.
So if you had bought on that impulse on your 15-minute, you would have caught all that.
Mm-hmm.
And take it to your 5-minute now. You probably have an even better entry.
Mm-hmm.
You look at that impulse correction right there.
And look at this little area right here. This right, like she said, remember how she said that it starts to consolidate before it wants to do anything? I started putting my little boxes. When I see a long consolidation, I just put a box around it and wait for it to break, wait for the news.
You're at a supply, at a demand zone too, weren't you, on the higher time frame? Weren't you at the bottom of a channel? Yep. So and bring up your MACD.
Nope, that's not it. No, I think I have it hidden. Let's see if I have it hidden. Nope, I deleted it.
So your MACD had a crossover to the upside before the news hit.
Mm-hmm. Wow, right? It started to cross right there. Let me actually do like this and then delete that. So it started to cross up over here. It kind of goes in line. Let me see. I love my 5-minute. I finally got my sweet spot, and my sweet spot is my 5-minute and the EMAs. And see, look at it cross right here.
Yep, you're 9 and 50.
Yep, that's my
Thing happened right before the news. Yeah.
I learned that from.
You could have been in the trade with the stop loss, like right at the beginning. And if at first you wouldn't have lost much, but you know, it went in your favor.
And then we have, I only use the confirmation of this crossing right here. I go in and out my MACD. I've learned the sweet spot of 5, and here it crossed for me had I been awake. And that's one take profit before the pullback. And this is all like just ascending. But look at this MACD, how it never did come close to each other.
Yeah, the MACD stayed above the histogram.
Look at look at that. That's probably where that would come in.
So now you have divergence, and you got an ascending channel. So we'll be looking for it to drop.
154 pips before the closing for me at 2. So between 5 and 2 p.m., 7 hours to get 158 pips had I been awake. Yep. News is powerful, guys. Anybody with questions, comments, experiences?
I know I just want to tell you, I just appreciate you coming on here and breaking everything down like you have. It's made so much sense. So I appreciate all that risk management and everything. It's been great. I didn't get to see the earlier part of it, but I hopped on at the end and it's been wonderful. So I appreciate it.
It'll be on YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Much appreciated.
Say that again.
Said you were much appreciated.
Oh, you're very welcome, Johnson. You're very welcome. We pay it forward here, so we look forward to you guys as you start to learn to also be able to and teach and show and learn and grow with all of us. This is us growing all together. This is Gigi saying yes to her vision, and it's created all of this. You guys have to continue to say yes to your vision and keep this going and keep this growing.
We usually have 80 to 100 people on here, but we had said we were going to cancel it because of Vegas. There's a lot of people that are usually on that aren't on tonight, but we push forward.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Thank you.
All right, I believe for me, unless we can start to end the recording part of this session. And if there's anybody who would like to go ahead and mark up, we can do that. But I just want to say, guys, thank you for being here. This is Mahogani Art Jones. And thank you for listening. And please participate, become a part, ask questions.